Welcome to this episode of Love That For You, the podcast where we dive into the stories that shape us and celebrate the moments that make us who we are. I'm your host, Morgan Leatherwood, a Charlotte-based professional photographer with a passion for genuine connections. Get ready for a conversation that's both lighthearted and deeply insightful. As we journey through each episode, you'll witness the power of storytelling in its purest form. Whether we're discussing pivotal life moments, overcoming challenges, or celebrating achievements, every story will leave you saying, "Love that for you." It's a phrase that encapsulates our genuine enthusiasm for the triumphs of others and the joy that radiates from their successes. You could be anywhere, listening to anything, but you're here, and I love that for you. Hey friends, before we jump into our conversation, I just wanted to remind you, if you don't know already, I actually host another podcast called Queen City Connect. This is a podcast that celebrates the dreamers, the doers, and the change makers of Charlotte, North Carolina. If that sounds like something that would interest you, I would love for you to go check it out on any podcast platform, even the one you're listening to right now. We would absolutely love that. Give it a like, give it a subscribe, rate and review, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. We also have an Instagram page that you can follow along to see who all of the incredible small business owners and nonprofits and creatives that make up Charlotte, North Carolina are at. So if that sounds like something you would enjoy, we would love for you to listen in. Thanks, everyone. Before we jump into today's episode, I am so excited to share with you our sponsor. According to the National Institute of Health, over 23 million miscarriages occur worldwide every year. In the United States, 1 in 4 women has experienced pregnancy loss. Delivering an angel baby, one born without a heartbeat, is a traumatic and life-altering experience, one that comes with increased risk of anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and even suicide. Nicole Chrysler is the mother of an angel baby. Her son, Evan James, was born November 8th, 2023, after having died at 13 weeks gestation. One thing that helped ease her grief was the handmade hat, blanket, and wrap that the hospital gave her for her son. They were a beautiful keepsake and a reminder that her son and his life mattered. When Evan was born, though, he only weighed 22 grams, less than an ounce, and was 4 inches long. Because he was so small, his hat was too big, and while Nicole didn't mind that at all, it did give her an idea to make and crochet and donate items in several sizes so that each baby would have something in the perfect size. This idea has grown to what is now called Evan's Box. Currently, hospitals in more than 14 states have an Evan's Box. Our goal is to have an Evan's Box in at least one hospital in each state. We would love to invite you to become a part of this important mission. To find out more to see how you can help, please visit evansbox.org. You're so pretty, Jamie. Oh my goodness.
What a way to start.
What a way to start. Jamie Walker is in the studio. How are you?
I'm really well.
You got your Starbucks.
I got my Starbucks. I tried something new today.
What'd you try?
Well, you get on your Starbucks app and they always give you like a bonus stars to try.
Yeah.
And so today I had 3 options. It was like order 3 of this sandwich or 2 lattes. So I was like, I'll do the 2 lattes. Usually I get a honey almond milk flat white.
Yum.
This is a sugar cookie latte.
Okay.
But I don't like all that sugar. So I only have 1 pump of the sugar cookie and an extra pump of espresso.
That's the way to do it. That is legitimately what I've been doing too.
Once I figured out you could like do that
manually
on the
edit.
app, but I was like, oh yeah, less sugar, more caffeine.
I used to be I will sit in the drive-thru. I will not go inside, but it is so efficient, especially with the Starbucks here in Waverly. It fills up so fast. So it just is worth it for me. Like while I'm finishing blow drying my hair, I'll place the order and then I can just drive and go walk in and pick it up.
Yeah.
And also the fact that you can so easily edit. Way to go, Starbucks. I wish Disney would look at the Starbucks app because I love Disney. I am the biggest Disney fan, but we need to fix the Disney app. It's not efficient, but that Starbucks one is, because I will do the same thing. I'll go in and be like, well, I don't want a full chestnut praline latte because that's like a lot of everything.
Yes.
But give me just a straight up latte with 1 pump. Oh. Yeah. No extra sugar, no extra anything. Yeah. And it still tastes
so good.
Like a holiday drink.
Yeah.
Well, this is not our Starbucks episode, but if Starbucks wants to sponsor us, then that would be great too.
Small plugs.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jamie, I'm so excited just to talk to you.
Yes.
We have so many things to talk about. You're awesome.
Thank you.
I'm going to stop talking in just a second because I already feel like I'm like overrunning this whole episode, which is about you, not Starbucks. So I'd love to just hear like, who are you? I know, and I've shared with some people already, like we met at Bible study. You love the Lord, but you have this incredible community of people around you. Your family is just dynamic and awesome. But I want to hear from you, like, who are you? How long have you been in the Charlotte area? And what are you currently maybe doing now for work?
Sure. Well, first, thank you so much for having me. I think it's always such an honor when somebody wants to hear more about you. I am a Midwest girl at heart, which means I still say you guys. I cannot say y'all.
Okay.
Sometimes I try to type it like in a funny text or something and I have to backspace. I can't. It's just not there. It's not there. I'm still you guys. My husband and I have lived here for about 10 years now. A little over 10 years now. We moved in 2013. Joe and I are high school sweethearts. So we have been putting up with each other since 1995, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. We'll be 20
I won't tell
years.
you how old I was.
I know. I'll be 20 years this December. It's our 20-year anniversary.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
It's crazy. Still feel like we're 20 sometimes. His career actually brought us to Charlotte area. Was in the law, compliance, boring stuff. So he took a new position here in the Matthews area.
Okay.
I was at that point home with 4 little people. I had just started my own business and home, and then we moved here in that August, right? So we've been here 10 years. My kids were first grade, kindergarten, and then the girls were home with me when we moved. And it was pretty crazy. I mean, Joe and I went to high school together. We had lived in the same town forever. So moving here was a shock to the system for sure.
Right.
Just looking, like having to find the grocery store via GPS. Yeah. So we've lived here for 10 years. We have always lived in the Marvin area, South Charlotte, our little bubble down there. Now we have 6 kids instead of 4 kids. And we have an incredible community that I'm just really thankful that we live where we live. Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah, that is so exciting. So how old were you when you moved to Charlotte?
35.
Okay.
Because I'll be 45 in a couple weeks.
Okay. So new area, growing a family, like you have little. So now you're trying to figure out schooling, everything.
Yeah, that was another weird thing I had because my girls are twins and I had signed them up for kind of like an early, half-day preschool back at home. And then when we got here, one of the realities of this area is that people sign up for preschool like 3 years in advance.
And there are waiting lists.
Yeah. And I don't need 1 spot. I need 2 spots. Right. So we joined the Y and I literally joined the Y so that I could put them in the 2 hours of daycare and then just go and sit and like work maybe on the treadmill. Not because I'm a workout crazy, but like I literally just for 2 hours.
Like I'm the only person here with a membership who is not working out.
Right. I'm just here for the daycare. And then they had an opening at a beautiful little preschool, Weddington Methodist, and it was a wonderful experience for them. We really loved that there. And then when they were all in school, I was like, I have made it.
Yeah.
I have made it. All of my kids are gone.
We're going to survive.
They've gotten through it. It was like as an exciting day as when I didn't have to take diapers to the pool in the summer. Equally as exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. At that time, were you working or was just your husband working?
I was still working my business and my husband was actually transitioning out of his legal career. It got to a point where my business was successful enough that we didn't need Joe's income and he was able to pursue some other passions.
That's great.
When we were in high school and going into college, he wanted to be a social studies teacher, a high school.
Okay.
He loves reading and history.
We love that for him.
We do. Not for me.
Not my journey.
No, none of ours, really. He's so smart and knows a little bit about everything.
Right.
It's equally as annoying sometimes. But so his dad didn't talk him out of it in a unkind way, but just was like, if you want to support a family, teachers don't really make a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
And so he went to business school and then went to law school and really did love litigation. He loved like the thought process and strategy behind it. But at some point he had kind of like a medical moment where the doctor was like, you can be a really good lawyer or a really good dad. It's really difficult to be both. Wow. And he was like, okay, well, that's a no-brainer. So he went into in-house corporate litigation, which is what he never wanted to do. And so did that for a few years until he was like, you are successful enough that I don't need to keep going to work miserable every day. Like, what else can I do?
Right.
So he stopped working and did like the John Maxwell training program. He did a ton of masterminds where he was raising money for Principles of Promise.
Okay.
Built like 2 schools through like life coaching and stuff like that. Like it's just totally been raising money for all these people, which then led him to Africa and to all of that. And through his experiences with giving back in those ways, he really found that community is such a huge thing for children from trauma situations, which sent him down the road of getting his master's degree. So he's a lot of degrees in mental health counseling.
Wow.
So all of that's happened in the last like 5 years.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I knew some of that, not all of that. No, that is so fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay. And the business that you're referring to that you were doing, is that still what you're doing now?
Yes.
Same business.
Same business.
Okay. So take us down that journey and then we'll connect the two to come back to what you're doing right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's direct sales, network marketing, Rodan Fields. When I was home, or even when I was a teacher before my first life, I was a high school teacher.
Awesome.
And I loved working.
Yeah.
And the only reason I stopped working was because I had too many kids to afford to go to work. Sending 4 kids to daycare is more than any teacher makes.
Yeah.
I always planned on working. Being a stay-at-home mom was not in my recipe book. I'm very thankful that we were financially able to make that decision because it just was too expensive. But after being home for about 2 years, I was kind of losing my mind.
You're just the type of person that's like, I always need to be doing something.
Yeah, I do. And I didn't want to be, and I say it with like air quotes, just a stay-at-home mom. We always joke that like in my business, a lot of women will start because they want to go home and stay with their kids. And I started because I wanted to leave my home and do more things without my kids.
Because both are arguably full-time jobs.
Totally.
Like
totally,
100%.
Totally.
There's no easier option here.
Yeah. So I was honestly desperately seeking grown-ups. Like that's my MO.
Okay.
I just needed something that was for myself and to use my brain. And I've worked since I was 14, and to not have, not even the income, but just like structure and responsibilities and things to work towards. And it was, I could just tell I was losing myself. Yep. And that's not the kind of woman I wanted my girls to see.
Yeah.
Right. And so I have always loved direct sales. I loved the parties. I'm one of those unicorns. I loved going to them because I was like, snacks and sangria and like a necklace.
Girls' night.
Like, I don't know what's so wrong with that. So I always went, I always hosted them. I never wanted to do them because, my girlfriends would come and they'd have like suitcases of inventory, whether it was bags or necklaces or bras or I don't even know. I had them all. And I was like, where do you keep all of this in your
Right.
I don't have time for that.
Right.
And I also didn't have time for, 2 nights a week leaving my house to go and host these parties. Like that system didn't make any sense to me. I loved it for them and I supported it and I would always go, but it just didn't make any sense to me. And then a girlfriend, really just an acquaintance, she had taken some family photos and I got an invitation to her party. I had never heard of whatever this company was, but I am super nosy and I wanted to see her house. So
we love that. We all are that way. 100%. Everybody is that way.
See where you live.
Was it a nice house?
It was beautiful.
Great.
It was beautiful. Nosy by nature is what my husband coined me, like made me like the gangster t-shirt and everything. So I went and they started talking about Rodan Fields. I'm a big faith-based decision maker, like not so much of the prayerful way, but like if my gut is talking to me, then I'm like, I should pay attention.
Right.
So I was like, is this really what I want to do next?
And also, what year is this? And is this the beginning of that business?
This is 2013.
And that's right when Rodan Fields started?
Rodan Fields kind of started 2008, 2009.
Okay.
It really took off in 12 and 13.
Okay, which is about when you're going to this party.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I said to my husband, I went to the party on like maybe a Thursday or Saturday. I said to him on Sunday that I was thinking about doing it. And he was like, really? Like skincare? That's going to be your thing?
So, and tell us, for anyone who's not familiar, what all does that include? What is that? And when you say, I'm curious about doing it, what does that mean?
Right. So Rodan Fields is premium-based skincare. We now also have hair care as of last year. Doing it means becoming a brand rep for them, right? Essentially using my network and marketing to my network to make them familiar with the products.
Yeah.
Get them to buy the products and then get others that maybe also want to make some extra income do the same thing. We don't have inventory and we're not a party-based company. And so I removed both of the two things immediately from why all of the others hadn't interested me. And all I really wanted was just some grown-ups. And if that meant I could also maybe make enough money to get a cleaning lady, that would be amazing.
Yes.
Like, cool. Why not? What do I have to lose? My girlfriend actually, we always said that she lived 3 songs away. She came over immediately and said, this is a terrible idea. I was like,
really?
Her and my husband both asked me all of these questions. And
Yes.
I was like, I have no idea.
Yes.
I don't know how we get paid. I don't know who these women are. Like I didn't know any facts, but I'm not a fact-based decision maker. Those two are very research-based.
Got it.
So Heather went home, did all of the research, called me in the morning. She's like, this is an amazing opportunity for you. Don't ever ask me to do it with you. I'm not hosting a party. I will get some of the mustache cream. She called it that. But you should totally try this.
Okay.
I was like,
yeah,
I had already decided, but
Right.
thanks for your vote of permission, if you will. So that was in May. And immediately I had an incredible community of cheerleaders and women. And I think it was my first really experience with social media in such a connecting way.
Yep. So this is 2013.
2013.
So Instagram is a thing.
Yeah,
kind of.
Kind of. I didn't even get on Facebook until 2011, till my girls were born.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
I was a high school teacher.
Got it.
That's
Yeah.
We don't need to have that connection out there.
Right. Did you have a MySpace?
Nope.
So you had no form of
No.
social media. Wow.
No.
Okay. So Facebook was the first thing, and you got
Facebook
that
was the first thing.
little
and
bit
I
later.
literally used it as like a photo album of my family.
Sure. That's what we all used it for.
Right.
I have,
The book
to
of
this
faces.
day, there are hundreds of albums that I would be mortified if they made their way over
I'm
to
always so
Instagram.
impressed with like the women who would have like a breakup and then go through every photo of the broken up with one. I'm like,
Yeah, I
that
did.
is-
I never did that.
Ooh.
I think everything is still there.
Now, I know what you're going to do the rest of the afternoon.
Yeah. So if everyone could not go look at my Facebook page, but the thing, like my world really now is Instagram. Like
Sure.
that is my social media
Mhm.
currently. But even those people, if I go over to Facebook, which is maybe once a week, because like
Yeah.
I still tag like all of my Instagram photography business stuff filters to Facebook. So people think I'm on Facebook, but I'm not. It just, when I post there, it also posts there.
Yeah.
But I'll go over to check notifications and stuff. And there will be so many family members, good friends of mine. I'm not friends with any of them on Facebook because like we just don't do life over
Oh.
there. And I'm like, that's so interesting that we're not friends here,
Yeah.
but we're so connected over here.
Yeah,
It's just
and
like
I
a
think
different
that's
world.
a generational kind of age thing because
Yes.
like my mom is still very Facebook.
Still,
she
same.
scrolls on Instagram.
Same with mine.
But she would never post on Instagram.
Right.
So I'm kind of in that middle where I have to be touching on both very
Yep.
authentically
Yep.
to reach all of those audiences.
So how does community and networking work for you you've just decided to do this with Rodan Fields,
Mhm.
but like you're not huge on social media. So is your
Mhm.
network really just more in person then?
It was a heavy combination of both.
Okay.
Because I was not super familiar with social media, I really leaned into the naivety of it and did all of the messages and did, 10 posts a day.
Yeah.
One.
You were scrappy. You
I was
were like,
yeah,
I'm
I
just
was
gonna
like,
do
I don't
it.
know that this is wrong or frowned
Yep.
upon or
Yep.
I'm just excited about it. So I'm going to tell everybody else how excited I am about it.
Right.
So I leaned into the naivety of not knowing what I was doing and just figured it
that
out
put
as
you on
I
top.
went along. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that is what would have put you on top.
Yeah.
I think back to like when I first got an Instagram, like I was known as the girl who would post 3 or 4 times a day.
Mhm.
Like I just would. And of course we didn't have stories then. So you
Mhm.
were posting what we would now just post
Did you
on
even
stories.
do a carousel? I think you
No,
could
I don't
just
think
do
so.
one at a
I
time.
think it was just
Yeah.
one. And
Yeah.
you were given like 6 filter options and they were
Yeah.
terrible. Absolutely disgusting. But like I was that person that just posted all the time. So I totally resonate with that. But so you're out here and you're just like, I'm just going to post.
Yeah.
And it just built. So I have questions because I imagine there's people listening who are affiliated with companies,
Mhm.
either Rodan Fields or something like
There's
it.
a lot of them.
Yes. Or maybe they're familiar, but they don't have anything to do with it, like
Yep.
myself.
Yep.
Is there a time, are you still with your business now recruiting people to join? Is there a time when it is the best to join or when it's not the best to join? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's, a lot of times that you'll hear people say like ground floor opportunity.
Right.
And my girlfriend actually described it once. She's like, I don't necessarily want the ground floor. I would rather have a much sturdy, established, old classic wood floor.
Yeah.
Like I want something that has proven it's going to succeed, that has...
Right, because you don't want to be the first one and then it be a terrible company. I mean, there are so many documentaries on Netflix about different things too. And it's like, well, they didn't know that at the top, this is what was happening. And it's like, I would have never, no one, if people would have known, they never would have signed up. Like type of thing. Right. So you don't want to be so high at the top that you are just blindly being like, let's do this.
Yeah, it's so fun. Well, it's interesting. I had a whole season, probably a full year, where I can go back and look at my social media and my marketing, and I was selling how fun it was.
Okay.
And really not giving enough credit to how much work it was. And everyone that joined the business with me that year has not been very successful because I sold them fun, not the work.
Got it.
Right. So like the messaging, I can identify that, hindsight, of course, and I was having a ton of fun, but I was also working my butt off.
Right.
Right. So it's an interesting perspective in that sense of like, it is what you make of it and what you sell of it.
Right. And is that for you where you're at today? Like you put in that work. So now at this point you can sit back a little bit more.
I definitely do. I certainly don't bring in as many people as I did in my first 3 or 4 years.
Sure. That's like the building season of any business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I still find such joy in sharing the opportunity with people that are open to it. Because I do still think that there is money to be made and lives to be changed and opportunity to be had. Yeah.
It's like, say what you want about it. Everyone's going to have opinions. But at the end of the day, if someone wants to work hard and make money in that way, go for it. Yeah. Hot take. We should all have multiple streams of income.
Yes. Yeah.
In my opinion. So if that is what someone wants to do and it's making money.
Yeah, it's always been a really interesting thing to me. You'll see somebody post like, what's your favorite eye cream? No MLMs. It's like, well, why don't you think I have a good eye cream?
It's like just almost throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
There are horror stories of people who have abused the system, abused their network, certainly. But there are also really bad realtors. And really bad doctors and photographers. And, there's going to be really bad no matter what, lawyers, anything, teachers, that are really bad in their career no matter what your market or your field is. It's always just been so unfortunate to me that we get lumped into this scheme of a system only because I have seen so much good come from it.
Well, I think that's great. What is your advice to someone that's like not currently doing anything in like an MLM specific capacity, but is maybe interested? Like, do you think that it does work best for a certain personality type or a certain season of life?
I think definitely a personality type in the sense of you have to be willing to connect with people. People are always like, how do you, is it all social media? And I'm like, it's connections and conversations.
It's everything.
So you think about Tupperware days, you think about Mary Kay days, like it was all having connections and conversations with people. And however you do that today, it's the exact same thing. I mean, I'm certainly in sales, but I really feel like my job is to just make sure that when someone's ready for, be it an eye cream or some lash boost or a couple extra $100 a month, that I'm the person they think of.
Yeah.
I just have to stay relevant in my connections and conversations so that whenever that person is like, okay, I think I want to talk about this, then I'm the person that they
know.
Of.
They're not being like, is Jamie still doing that?
That is like the death of people.
But you also don't, and what has maybe rubbed me personally the wrong way is if I haven't talked to someone in forever and then our first interaction is, hey girl, so good to hear. Hey girl, like, I mean, people, the jokes are justified, but because there are people that come at me and have been like, hey girl, I know it's been a while since high school. Looks like you're crushing it. I have this awesome opportunity. I'd love to share it with you. And I'm like, could we have started with, hey, how's it going? Like, even if you wanted to get to that point, we could have maybe started a different way.
Yes, totally. And there was definitely a time that I even did that in the beginning days, because again, you're just so excited to like literally let everyone know what you have to offer them.
Yes.
Like, especially if it's a product that you're super passionate about and has made a huge difference for you. So yes, the Hey Girl messages are.
And that's not just for MLMs, that's for anything, because I have noticed that even with my photography, there have been seasons where it's like, hi, it's so nice to meet you. Would you like some photos? And it's like, well, maybe we can start with a relationship.
Yeah.
So it's like, I really don't bring up that I'm a photographer unless I'm asked or unless we've had a relationship that has been built. I feel that way about podcasts. There are people that I would love to record episodes with, like an interview on my podcast, but I've not asked them yet because I want to build a relationship with them first. Like, I don't want it to be like, oh, well, because you're this name, I want you to be on my podcast. I want to respect you enough to like have a relationship. And then over time, if it works out, great. It's for anything in life. Like, be respectful of the person because that person matters more than your business for whatever it is.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And I think, social media is good. I mean, I really feel like RNF changed the game of Facebook with all of the before and afters and whatnot. And so many people have kind of come onto that bandwagon, if you will. And I think that what we have to learn as a market or as a field of network marketing is that it just takes a little longer now. When I started in 2013, 2014, I might reach out to somebody 6 or 7 times before we had enough rapport that they were willing to purchase something from me. But it's so noisy now that the statistics are like 40 times. Somebody has to see your content 40 times before, because we're like goldfish. We are as vibrant as goldfish because it's just so noisy. And so like the turnover rate of getting in front of people and getting people's attention, no matter what you're talking about, just takes a little longer than what we have the patience for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we want to know.
Right. We are creatures of that timeline for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I am so excited for you that like this is something like you are a success story. And I feel like you're a great person to talk to about this. I mean, I don't even know I'm saying this on the podcast if you would even feel comfortable with people reaching out to ask questions if they were interested.
Absolutely.
What is the Instagram or place that you would want people to reach out to?
My Instagram is jamie.n.walker. Yeah, that's probably
perfect.
The best way.
Yeah. So if anyone's listening and you have questions for Jamie about anything related to MLMs, business, anything,
just don't come hate on me.
Just don't go hate on her. Listen, you cannot anonymously go hate on people these days on Instagram unless you have a Finsta, which hopefully, do you know what a Finsta is? It's a fake Insta. People out here making Finsta. This is a term you need to know, Jamie.
Be mean to people?
Literally, yeah.
Oh, I'm sure I've gotten a lot of those messages.
Ugh, we don't have time. We don't have time. You know what? Hurt people. So we're going to love them, but we're not going to be them.
You teenage girls have that often.
Yeah.
Middle school drama is a whole beast.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Middle school drama advice for a mom listening right now in 3 sentences or less.
Remember what it felt like. Don't try to fix it and let them complain.
I love that. That was very like holistic and just like, you're not going to fix the problem. Just let them be, let them feel the feelings.
Yeah. I told all of my kids around like the 11, 12 years old, like middle school is the worst. You just got to get through it.
Yeah.
And come out on the other side, like still sweet and kind. And a good human, but it's terrible. You're not going to like the way you look in pictures. Your friends are all going to like hate you and be mean. Like the schoolwork is overwhelming. Like it's just a terrible 3 years. It just is.
Yeah.
Just got to get through it.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like there's people as adults who feel like don't like the way they look in pictures and they hate everything. So I feel like while all of that is true, and I think that's a great message, we also are like, let's remember what is actually important.
Yes.
What's on the inside. Mm-hmm. That is what's going to, and you said that, being kind on the other side, that is what's going to matter. Oh, so many hormones. Yeah. I loved being a teacher and I loved teaching I loved the middle schoolers.
Oh, really? So the building I taught at was 7 through 12.
Okay.
So I had the 7th graders for keyboarding. It was so, one day they'd come in and like sweet as can be. And the next day it was like, did you not have breakfast today? Like, Who is this person?
When I was
trying to figure it out. Do I want to be a good kid or a bad kid?
Yes.
Not sure.
Every day was different. When I was in the classroom teaching, I taught 5th and 6th grade. And I feel like especially 5th grade was the perfect, like they just loved you no matter what and still had that innocence, but like wanted to be cool, but
and did
still
their work and got excited about projects. And
yeah. Okay. Well, I would love to transition and talk family. And do we start with the TikTok video and work our way back? Because now people are like, what is this TikTok video? Can we please talk about it? So let's address, I'll have you just say like, what is the video? And then let's back up. And I'd love for you just to share this beautiful story.
So the video is one of my adopted sons getting his first birthday cake. And he just loses it, totally loses it, bawls his sweet little head off. And our family is loud and loves really hard. And we're screaming at him to blow out the candles. And all of a sudden I'm like, wait, he has no idea what that even redo.
Yes.
So we get him settled and redo it and have him sing again and have him blow out the candles, make a wish. Yeah, so that's the viral video. I posted it on my Facebook page, and by the like 10 o'clock at night, and when I woke up in the morning, it was like almost already at 1 million views or something on my Facebook.
You posted on Facebook first.
Yeah. I didn't even have TikTok until after this video.
Well, and things going viral, like you're not thinking, I'm going to post this to go, you're celebrating your son. How old was he turning?
He was turning 12.
Turning 12. Got his first ever birthday cake. Loses it. I've seen the video. I saw the video long before meeting you.
Yeah.
I'm sure people listening to this have seen the video. I mean, it's literally everywhere. Yeah. Did it ever make it to like Today's Show or news or anything?
So Steve Hartman came out and did like I don't even know what it was. It was funny when it was first on like the world news. My husband and I were out of the country, and we woke up in the morning to like our phones going crazy. And I was like, what is this? We had no idea that was happening because we had 2 local news cover it. And then it was on Steve Hartman, and then it was on David Muir with the evening news. And like, it's crazy.
It's the most beautiful video. There is another video too of your
James's birthday video.
Other side.
Well. That one I was a little more prepared when I posted it, because we got I shouldn't say so much of, let's say of all of the 100 comments we got on Abraham's video, 80 of them are really wonderful and positive and beautiful. And then the 20 are really terrible and nasty, which I'm totally okay and prepared for. Like, knew that was coming. But
I hate that for you so much.
One of the things that people kept saying was like, stop screaming. Let him have his moment. Because we're all screaming, make a wish, right? And so when I posted James, I edited it and put like music over it because we were all screaming again. Like, I didn't open the family back up to the divisiveness of everybody else's opinions, right?
At that point, how long had it been since the first video when you put up the second video?
His birthday's in June, so it was like a month.
A month later? Yeah. And was he like, you need to post this video of me too? Or was that totally on you just to post?
I had said to them both that neither of them understand what 1 million people are.
Yes.
Or that how many...
we do need to back up a second and tell James and Abraham's story.
So James and Abraham, we adopted them from Sierra Leone, Freetown, which is, if you've ever seen the movie Blood Diamonds, like that is where they're from. And we brought them home November of 2021. They're from an orphanage called the Raining Season in Freetown. Some friends of ours started the Raining Season. We met them via Rodan Fields. They have adopted a few others, and they have a beautiful book and story about it. Joe and Jason became really good friends, and Joe wanted to go and just see the orphanage. We were sponsoring a couple kids. Joe is very much the get your hands dirty, play with the kids. I'm much more the check writer giver. And he wanted just to go and see it and like go to this third world country. And I had zero interest in it.
Joe's your husband,
Joe
correct?
Is my husband.
And who's Jason?
Jason is the other owner of the Raining Season.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So Joe went in January of 2019. I said, we're not adopting any babies. Don't bring any babies home. I should have said teenagers, knowing my husband's heart. But he came home from that, not convicted at all for adoption, but was really drawn to this young man, James, that he had met and spent time with. He said he was just really charismatic. He had great speaking skills. Like, you could just tell he was a little different than the rest of the children in the orphanage. And so we started sponsoring James, and they would Skype once a month. And again, just continued like a mentoring relationship. We were on a trip. We were actually in Barcelona, again, with the creators of the Raining Season on this trip. And we got word that James was going to be reunified with his mother.
Oh.
So it's interesting. James was and his brother Abraham, they were picked up off the streets and picked up by a third organization that took them to the raining season.
Okay.
This third organization then will eventually reunify them with their mothers in kind of a negative light, because you as a donor here in the States, if you hear that a son was reunified with his mom, you feel warm and fuzzy and
like, good. That's how it should be.
Yeah. And it's not.
Okay.
James was not happy to be reunified because he knew he'd be back on the streets.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went into quick action. My husband went into quick action, and within about 30 days was able to get, because the mom didn't even really want them to be reunified because she can't afford to keep them, to feed
So
them.
it was like where they were saying you need to go back with your mom?
Mm-hmm. Not the raining season, not the orphanage, the third party organization.
Got it.
And so they reunified James with his mother. We were able to keep in contact, and the mother during that time relinquished her rights so that they could go back to the raining season.
Okay.
What we did not know was Abraham, this brother, had the same thing had happened to him before Joe had met James. And so Abraham was already back with his mother. She also relinquished her rights. And so both of the boys came back to the raining season in like July. Joe actually left Hilton Head, immediately went in August just to see how he was and to meet Abraham, and came back from that trip very convicted that we were meant to do something else. And I was like, you're crazy. We have 4 very active young children.
Right.
I will send them to school. I will support them in any way financially that we can. We can sponsor them. We can Skype with them, but we do not need to adopt them. I've never been called to.
And how old are your biological children at this point?
This is 2019. So
okay, just a few years ago.
Yeah, just a couple years ago. Middle school, elementary school. So it got to this point, I would say like in September of 2019, where we were just at this crossroads. There was going to be a lot of resentment. Either he was going to resent me for not going and meeting them and at least giving them a chance. I was going to resent him if I was just like, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
And so I went to...
Because that's not really a situation where you can be like, okay, fine. Like,
right,
you're changing your whole life.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I agreed to go on a visit. I went 1st of November, 2019. I went with a team. I didn't want anybody to know me. I didn't want to have any preconceived notions of who I was or, you know, what I've done with Rodan Fields or the family. I just wanted to go totally anonymous. And I've never wanted to go to a third world country. So I was just really nervous, and it's a lot. And I would say within about 12 hours, it was like what took me so long to get there kind of thing. I met Abraham first. When you arrive, you usually arrive at night on Sunday. So you stay at the hotel. It's beautiful accommodations, like running water and air conditioned and comfortable bed.
Good.
Like it's beautiful. And the hotel that we were staying at is literally like around the corner and up the street from the orphanage. And so then in the morning you all get up and walk up. And so.
And at this point, had they been told that you guys
They knew I was coming.
Okay.
Oh yeah, they knew I was coming.
Because they've Skyped you. They know.
Yeah, they know I'm coming. The pathway is just lined with beautiful children singing and clapping. And a backstory I had said on before there to my 2 girlfriends, both who have adopted from there. I was like, I don't really like children. I don't like to play with them. I don't like them to play with my hair. Like, I'm just not that kind of woman. Mm-hmm. I will like sit down and play cards with you. But like,
if you want to play a strategy game and watch me win,
play euchre, I'm in. I'm in. I was like, what am I gonna like? I feel like I don't have anything to offer other than like, I don't want to make them feel worse that there's this like woman here who doesn't even want to like. I just felt really anxious about that. And they said to me, you can go and be such a bright light for the aunties and the women that are there that are suffering. I was like, okay, that I can kind of wrap my head.
Yes.
Like I can do that. So I'm there and, you know, like literally 5 minutes up this hill and Abraham comes like embraces, like almost knocks me over with this giant hug, like takes my backpack and just starts holding my hand as if like he's known me his whole life. And I wasn't uncomfortable by that at all, which was weird. And so then we're getting a tour of the orphanage. The older boys go to school outside of the village. And so they're not there. So I'm only with the younger kids right now.
Okay.
And then we're at the end of this place, at the end of the compound. It's like 3 acres, essentially. And at the end of it, they're showing us like the pump for the water and the kitchen, which is really just like a big flat fire pit thing.
Yep.
And I have this overwhelming sense that someone is watching me. And so I look up, and outside of the compound is the school. And immediately I lock eyes with, turns out to be James. And it was like literally everything shifted. Like it's just like a moment you can't ever explain. You just know like nothing is ever going to be the same again. And so that whole week, I was very observant. I asked a lot of questions. I mean, I cried myself to sleep every night, not because of an adoption potential, but like it's just there's so much happening and it's so much pain and sadness, but they are so beautiful and delightful and happy and just joyful. So it's like, what is wrong with us? You know? So when I was leaving, I said to one of the mentors there, I was like, if I had to take them in my suitcase now, I absolutely would. I know that I can't. And I said, so I need to like emotionally detox from this experience. We need to have a lot of conversations. So we did all of the conversations with one-on-ones with my kids and twos and threes. And they asked a lot of questions that are very kid-oriented, like where will they sleep and what grade will they be in? And finally said, like, these are all great questions. I don't know the answers. I don't even know if we'll be able to adopt them. But if you can trust us as your parents, that we would never do anything to harm you or to make your life harder intentionally or, always out of love. And if we can trust you that if you do feel put out, or if you do have hurt feelings, or if you are unsteady or unsure, that you will come to us. If we can trust our unit as a family, then we have an opportunity to do something super cool for two really deserving boys. And that was kind of like, yeah, okay, that's good. I got that.
Wow. I feel like that conversation that you had with your kids is like very wise. Did you have other mentors or people that you were talking through this with, or was it just you two?
It was just Joe and I. It's interesting in that adoption world specifically, people want to tell you all of the really scary stuff, almost of like out of protection. I don't know necessarily to talk you out of it, but they don't want you to think you're signing.
Got to be realistic.
Right. And we had heard all of those and been really close with them and their experiences. And we knew all of the hardships that could possibly come with it. Thankfully, Joe, my husband, had a really good relationship with the three of the men who were, from Sierra Leone at the center and was able to talk with them. Because there are some kids there who would not succeed if they came to the States. They don't have the hope and the dreams and the gut and the instincts and they're meant to stay where they are and do good there. So Joe was able to have a lot of really good conversations with the adult men there. Like, are these boys, are they capable of succeeding here? I have two girls. Should that be a concern? Going to be a white community? Is that going to be a concern? We had a lot of those conversations.
Yep. Both sides have to be realistic.
Totally. And we gave James and Abraham the choice. We said, we would like to, bring you to live with us and be a part of our family. But we want you to think about it, like make some pros and cons, and then let's talk about those. And their biggest con was the airplane ride. They were very nervous about the airplane
Which
ride.
Makes complete sense.
Yeah.
That's huge.
But we wanted to make sure they understood that this was not just a big house and cell phones. Nothing is the same here. Nothing is the same. So we started the process November of 2019.
Okay.
My husband and my two bio boys went back in January of 2020.
Okay.
And so Joe and Evan, Joe's also my son, Joe and Evan got to meet them and they played soccer and cards. And that was a really cool experience.
That's amazing.
And then, 2020 happened. So it took you have to go through it on Sierra Leone's side first.
Okay.
There.
I was going to say, did COVID push it out?
I mean, I think it did. It's hard to blame it on COVID because it's just a really gruesome process anyway.
Yeah.
I think over there, they definitely shut down. So it probably extended it over there by a few months. But we adopted them in Sierra Leone like October of 2020. Then it took another full year to get through the stateside.
Okay. Wow. That is a whole process. And that's a lot to emotionally and mentally go through when I'm sure you are at the point where you're like, I just want us all under one roof. And then thinking, well, it's going to be a year until that happens.
Yeah, it is. It was so interesting because it wasn't, it's not like our lives are still happening here. Our children's lives are still happening here. And so you're going on business as usual, But like things would happen. It's like, okay, well, maybe we shouldn't plan this because what if this happens? And you really can't go down those rabbit holes. Like you just have to keep living and
keep planning.
Someone says it's time to come and get them. Yeah. So it was a lot. And during that time, we had a Facebook community that we would post updates. We would post Skypes from the boys. Like we really believe in the power of prayer. And honestly, this whole community of people prayed them home to us. And so when I posted the video of Abraham's birthday, certainly I knew that people would love it as much as we did. But it was never meant to be
the entire world
loving it as much as we did, right? Like it's still to this day. And we always joke that Reese, who's in the video with her little hair turban on, who just got out of the shower, like, I mean, that's going to be that's her legacy in life, is the hair turban girl screaming, make a wish, like we make so many jokes about it. And I did a post, it's been a couple of months, about like the 5 things that viral video land has taught me, because it's mean. Like,
yes,
it's a mean
please tell us.
But one of the biggest ones that I said, well, first of all, about this adoption, people ask a lot of questions about them. And I am very clear that that is their story. I will tell you anything about our adoption and about our experience as their parents. But their history and their background, other than where they come from and that their mother's still alive, that's totally up to them if they want to tell that story someday. So those are not things that I will ever answer. And nor do I even really know how much I know, like, so I would never want to say it wrong. Have not, will not ever profit from a video. I didn't even know that was a thing until this came out. So many people wanted to like buy the rights. And I was like, wait, what? Why is that a thing? No, no. This is a birthday cake video. It's not a buying the rights video. And then the other big thing was it's been such a great lesson for my kids, because they read the comments. Like they see the call outs and the nastiness. And I think at first it was harder for them. It's never been hard for me because I have a social media background and I understand being a public figure, if you will, in like the silliest sense. Like I know that not what you put out there, you have to be willing to take the backlash for. I know that. It doesn't bother me. People feel so much bigger behind a screen than they do in front of your face.
And maybe some people need to hear that. Like if you're willing to put it out there, we're not saying it's right, but in a way you have to
give him permission.
You have given permission for people to state opinions, whether they're right or wrong. We're not saying, but by putting it out there, you are saying you can now say what you want.
You get to have an opinion about this. And so as soon as any negativity started, I never took, maybe I got a little defensive and felt like mama bear protectiveness of it. But I never like got into comment wars.
Sure.
Or,
no, we don't have time for that.
Like I do have like a thing on my notes. It's like, here's my rhetoric. And I just copy and paste it. Anytime someone else has reposted it on TikTok or somebody tags me, like I have a thank you for sharing our video, like just like my statement about what it is.
Yes.
Because my kids will say like, oh my gosh, that was so mean, or I can't believe they said that, or they made some like really nasty comments about Abraham a week ago. And my oldest was like cracking up at it. He's like, it's just so ridiculous.
Yeah.
So it's been a really great lesson for them that social media is not all sunshine and rainbows. But what we always go back to, and what we always say, is that love wins. And it has by far been much more of a positive experience than any of the negativity that, we've allowed to trickle in there.
That's so good. I love that you kept the videos up and are able to decipher between the negative and positive, and also teaching your kids that, because that's something that they are going to face for the rest of social media is only going to grow in every capacity. Who knows if Instagram will still be a thing in 20 years, but there will probably be 10 other things that we don't even know about yet.
Totally.
So technology age is only ever going to grow. So we need to learn now how to handle the negativity as much as the positivity. But what is a lesson or something that you've learned as a mom since adopting Abraham and James? Is there anything that you know now that maybe you didn't know before, either about life or about God or about family?
I think it's the control piece. I mean, I type A, Enneagram 3, in charge. My family's nickname for me is HBIC, which is head be in charge. Like, it's just like I make the plans and then the plans go the way that I've made the plans. Right. And the plan was to adopt these boys, but the things that they experience and teach us still today. I mean, Abraham just blew up the microwave like a week ago. Like, there's still so many things that it's like, of course you didn't know that. Like, why would you have known that?
Right.
You know, I think just the openness to allowing all of our kids to be who they are meant to be, not who we have created this narrative for, and not controlling it. Like, if they don't want to play basketball anymore, or if they want to try football, or if they, you know, are really passionate about young life, or like whatever their interests and hobbies are, like allowing them to kind of create that narrative on their own versus trying to put it into my narrative. I think we did that somewhat before the boys came home, but it's so much more mindful and present now.
Yeah. Releasing all control.
Yeah.
Which is fictional to think that you had that control in the first place, because no one has
sounded good.
All of the control that is hard for us to let go of. It's like, did you actually have control of it in the first place? So it's like the mindset, but to be at that place is huge.
Yeah. It's a daily struggle still. You know, that what I have learned, that all I really want in life is for my children to be friends when they're adults. Like, I want them to stick to be friends, and I want them to come home for Christmas. That's all I want. That's all I want. And if I can accomplish that, then I feel like I've done good.
Well, I'm sure that's going to happen because you're an awesome mom. I'm sure Joe, I haven't met Joe, but I need to meet him. I'm sure he's a great husband. And come on, Joe, come be on the podcast. We need more male energy on the podcast.
Yeah, he's a good one.
That's
making a big difference with his business right now. So
that is so cool. Can you share about his business?
Yeah,
what is he doing?
He just opened up a mental health counseling practice.
Amazing.
So he does play therapy and teens and parents.
Okay, yes, you did mention this.
Yes, it's called the Counseling Loft.
Okay. So it's for really any age then?
Really any age. I mean, his sweet spot are like the teenagers, but he does do 4-year-olds. He has some college students, and then the parents if necessary. Mm-hmm. He, you know, as a dad of 6, he's been around the block a few times. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, he just opened in November, and it's like filling up very quickly, which is, you know, you hate to like be thankful, but you are thankful. And, you know, because of the pandemic, mental health awareness is just, it's like a buzz right now in a good way. Yeah. And so kids and their parents are really taking the initiative to kind of take control of the struggles. And yeah, he's really good at it.
Yeah. That's such a gift to be married to someone.
I don't have his gift.
Well, to even just be married to someone who is so mindful of it, like that is, I'm sure, such a blessing to your whole family.
Yes, it is. We do have to sometimes say, like, please don't counsel us right now.
Yeah. Babe, I'm your wife, not your patient.
And I'll be like, I can't help it. Or the kids will be like, I know what you're doing, Dad. You know?
Oh.
But it is. I mean, it's just, again, it's that same awareness of not being in control of the situation and trying to figure out how to, he always says that kids are his jam. Like, I believe stories are our superpower. That's my superpower. His superpower is connecting with kids.
Wow.
So it's been really fun to kind of watch it develop.
And when you mix those two things together, like that is what your family is. Like this beautiful collection of children and teenagers and an awesome story. Wow, that is incredible. Thank you for just sharing that. Is there anything else that you want to share with us that we haven't talked about? I feel like we've covered a lot.
We've covered a lot. Yeah.
Well, I have one final question for you then.
Oh, yeah.
Because the show is called Love That For You. What are you loving right now?
I will say, I was thinking about this when you told me that earlier. I'm loving right now the challenge of reading a chapter of Luke every day leading up to Christmas. I am a new Bible reader. I've told you before, I'm a recovering Catholic. No shame to the Catholics out there. It taught me a whole lot. But I have learned in the last few years of actually reading the Bible that I loved all the stories, but I didn't really know what they meant. And so reading Luke every day has been just, I feel like I know all of the stories. I just didn't know it was from Luke.
Right.
So I have loved them all. Like today was about the worry. Like, why would you worry? It's not going to extend your life, which is so needed right now.
Yeah.
in the holiday season.
That's so great. Well, after you read Luke, go back and Matthew, Mark, and John kind of retell the stories, but from different
perspectives.
Because it's all four of them writing essentially the same stories of Jesus's ministry when he's here, like late 20s, early 30s. Yep. So, but they're all writing from their unique perspectives and stuff. And it's really cool how they all write. And you can almost see like the humor of each of their personalities. Like John literally says like, God loved me the most. And it's like, okay, I think that's funny that like that was allowed to stay in the Bible. Have you seen The Chosen?
I have. Not all of it. I got through, I think, the first season. Okay. And I never picked it back up, but I loved it.
I really took my time going through season 3. I didn't binge it like I did the first 2 seasons. Yeah. So I recently finished season 3, but season 4, actually, by the time people listen to this episode, season 4 will probably be out in theaters really soon because they just announced.
So do they do a movie? So what do you mean it's going to be in the theater?
So they take like the first 3 or 4 episodes and they just play them back to back. So you can go with people.
Did they do that with the other seasons?
I think they did it with season 3, but I hadn't finished season 2 in time to go. So I didn't go see it, but now I'm all caught up. Okay. So if you need something to binge, just know that in sometime around now, they are in theaters for like a few weeks going to release the first like 4, I think, episodes. And so it's like 2 hours worth, or maybe 3, I'm not sure, of shows that you can just go see. So, but great show. Just, I love it so much. Well, thank you so much, Jamie, for coming on this podcast.
Thank you for having me.
This was so fun. I love your family. I hope I can like meet your family sometime. It'd be so fun. Are you going to do Awaken again?
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Okay, great.
I miss it. Like, I'm craving it. I hate it when it's over. I just need it to
I hope we're at the same
round.
table again because,
Elizabeth, if you're listening.
Same table. Oh, Jamie, you're awesome. Thank you, girl.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap on today's episode of Love That For You. As always, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to everyone who shares their incredible story with us. If this story resonated with you, don't hesitate to reach out and let them know. Remember, we're all about celebrating the victories big and small. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your friends. Keep spreading those positive vibes and saying, love that for you. Until next time, friends, I'm Morgan Leatherwood, reminding you to embrace your own story and find joy in the journeys of others.